Alrighty, how's it going? This is Jonathan with Boston Collectors, and today we'll be diving into the Clone Wars Clone Trooper Jesse by Hot Toys. No idea why he isn't marketed as an ARC Trooper, but let's get started. The box isn't anything too special, especially compared to the previous DX releases we've unboxed here on the channel. You have your Clone Wars style cigar band here featuring the release information and a few photos of the figure. It's handy for posing ideas or simply displaying the art box if you'd like to. On the back of the packaging, we have the standard legal information, flagship store locations, and more. Decorating the box above the embossed Star Wars logo, we have Clone Trooper Jesse in a basic pose. Upon lifting the cover of the shoebox style packaging, we have the art insert of Jesse and Rex mid-battle. With the packaging out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. If you're enjoying the content so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Let's continue. Out of the box, Jesse is pre-equipped with a pair of relaxed hands. Fortunate for us, especially considering Rex didn't have a pair. These can be used for several poses, but for what's included, I find them usable for the holo projector. It's a fairly basic accessory, especially if you've seen them before. Although, we do have a new hologram specific to this release. It's kinda cheap looking, and we'll share why momentarily. For now, the LAT gunship is kind of emaciated, but I guess it gets the idea across. Compared to Darth Sidious's hologram, which appears like a hologram, there's a lot more weight to it, and it has a darker hue to the color as well. Again, I'm not sure why Hot Toys didn't go the extra mile for the gunship, but here we are. The next few hands are standard at this point, and we've received them through the majority of previous clone releases. Not all the time though. For whatever reason, Jesse wasn't given the thumbs up gesture. Regardless, we still don't have pairs, nor do we have fists. I'm not upset with these gestures. I just like more variety in the event collectors like me, who army build, aren't locked into the same pose with the same selection. It's always great to have pairs. Moving on, we have a pair of trigger fingers. These can be used with the included DC-17 blaster pistol and the DC-15S blaster carbine. You'll see them utilized as we continue. The DC-17s included inside come in pairs as seen in the show. The build quality is decent and identical to what we've received before with other clones. If posing Jesse with these don't really interest you, you could holster them if you'd like. As mentioned earlier, the DC-15S is another standard issued carbine included with Jesse. Again, there's nothing new here, and it gets the job done in terms of nailing what was seen in the show. Next, we have the magnetic backpack, which simply magnetizes to the figure's back. As a side note, make sure not to install this improperly. Locate the thermal detonator. It'll need to be facing down. Speaking of which, the detonator is modular and provide another posing idea if that interests you. We also have an ammo pouch which magnetizes to his chest. It sits lower than the one we received with Rex, but we'll cover that shortly. The next accessory is a pair of micro binoculars, which we'll save for the next section when we discuss Jesse's helmet. So hang tight. For the last few pieces included, we have a standard base featuring a tinfoil nameplate of the figure. It's pretty basic. Not really much to write home about. Since Jesse isn't flying around in the display, Hot Toys included a crotch holder to help him stand upright. As for accessories that could work with this release, we have Rex's jetpack. It's the better looking combo in my opinion, even if it isn't screen accurate. If it doesn't work for you, Captain Vaughn's jetpack could work as well. Unless, of course, you'd much rather him stick to the 501st jetpack. That also works. The RPS-6 rocket launcher is another option if you'd like to have him hold it. If not, the DC-15A is another choice. The binoculars from the Clone Pilot release aren't exactly matching anything, but it is an idea. Alongside the detonator in his pack, you could also use another one from the 501st clone. The holo projector is one size fits all, so if you happen to have other holograms lying around, you can set up your own story this way as well. Or if you're like me, sometimes you want a little more, so you start customizing. If you'd like to learn more about this, let us know down below in the comments. And lastly, we have a detonator. Both versions could work, but I did find it interesting that he didn't come with any. So Jesse's ammo pouch sits lower, right? After swapping with Rex's, I feel like it fits better. Now with Rex, I felt like his was always a bit too high. With Jesse's, I may swap them around. Now that the accessories are all done, it's finding a pose to fit the display. Jesse's one of those unique clones you could point out faster than most due to the Republic cog on his helmet. While there are obvious paint application changes, that's where the differences end. The basics of the helmet design bring them all together, but they were allowed freedom of expression with their gear. And Jesse's showing his Republic pride. The articulation is rather limited. Forward and back, not too much though. At this point, we know there's a lot of personality to be seen in the helmet based on how it's posed, right? Well, there is a bit of wiggle room, but I'm not too sure about what Hot Toys could have done to give us more than they already did. More on that in a second though. For now, there's a little bit, but that's kind of it. We mentioned Jesse's micro binocs earlier on in the review, so we want to run you through the installation. It'll occur on both sides of the ear cups of the helmet. First, we want to remove the helmet. Also, leaven the textured neck that we sadly didn't receive with Rex. I also mentioned Hot Toys providing a little more range and articulation in the helmet. Unlike the previous clones, Jesse's neck adapter is about half as long. With the tool included inside, you'll want to align it with the earpieces, which are removable on both sides. Keep these nearby because you will need them. Simply align the micro binocs over the holes of the helmet and plug the earpieces back in. This piece is rather loose, but it works. There are other ways to customize them with pieces from previous clones. For example, here's Rex's rangefinder. Another piece exclusive to Rex, and for some reason not the 501st, we have the torch. Or maybe you want to go all out and customize them with multiple parts. They all work. I'm going to keep it screen accurate personally, but the other changes could spark something for customizers out there. Hot Toys did a great job, and I couldn't be happier to have ARC Trooper Jesse to finish up the display for the Siege of Mandalore. But before we head off into the next section, humor me one last time. If you're looking to kit bash some of the clones together to make your own unique clone, the neck adapter isn't the same length as Jesse and Rex. Here we have Captain Vaughn, but the helmet is simply resting on the shoulders. Same goes for the 332nd helmet and the 501st, which isn't shown. Again, it's Jesse for me, but you may like the other options. A lot of us know Jesse, but let's say temporarily we didn't. Strictly highlighting his features, we know we're looking at a clone. Some could even argue possibly being Rex, especially since we don't have basic portraits for previous releases, which I'd imagine might bankrupt Hot Toys. Jokes aside, Jesse is a clone. Hot Toys, specifically Viva Lai, did a great job at marrying Temuera Morrison's likeness with the unique attributes to clones previously released. Jesse's Republic Cog is a very easy way to say who he is. Other than that, the details are minor, but very noticeable when you're paying attention. Allow us to show you. Jesse's got a slightly beefier portrait design. On the right eye, raised veins on a darker skin complexion. The skin tucking behind his ears and the meteor appearance to his scalp also stand out. By making the neck joint human textured, it makes it a lot better than the standard black neck they give. Other than that, we'll show you all a few comparisons with Rex in a moment. We just wanted to share a few things we noticed outside of the obvious. Here you can see the change in skin complexion and the slight aging in Jesse's face compared to Rex. Rex got a leaner look to his portrait, whereas Jesse's, again, beefier in design. With controlled lighting, we get to see a few more details in Viva Lai's work. I like the subtle adjustments, and I don't have a problem with anything here. I'll opt for the helmet, but I love the overall design direction for Jesse's portrait. So here's where the figure began to feel a little lackluster for me. By all means, the design is top-notch and close to what was seen in the Clone Wars. Hot Toys couldn't have done anything too different here without making Jesse appear entirely different from Rex. But man, this Podron is not fun to pose around. There's a lot of limitation here, and unfortunately the iconic scene of Jesse pointing his guns at Ahsoka and Rex can't be replicated. You can get some poses out of it, but dual wielding in a manner where he's using both pistols on one target, it's a no-go without it looking weird. Outside of the Podron limitations, he's a great figure and poses well armed with the DC-15S. And if you're familiar with the 501st clone body, don't worry, Jesse's isn't like that in terms of articulation. While we are limited, there is some fun to be had. I do wish Hot Toys added an extra gauntlet though, because Jesse's communication pad isn't present on his right gauntlet. Other than that, it's enjoying all of the new details on Jesse since this is Hot Toys' first ARC Trooper release. The comma's got a lot going on, but pleather exists here, so you will need to condition it if it's known to crack where you live. The ammo pouches are molded in plastic, but they give off a leather appearance. And wiring unfortunately doesn't exist in the comma, but the design is really cool. In closing, I am happy to have Jesse, but I can't say the wait was worth it. Although in comparison to the last few releases, which were DX Ahsoka and Luke, I can't tell if I'm jaded by those or not. It's something to consider, and I do feel it's a possible reason. Jesse's a solid figure, but a lot of the fun for me is imposing, and I'm limited to a few rather than what I was hoping for. For everything included, a few inaccuracies, hand selection and whatnot, I'm rating this one a 7.5 out of 10. Don't get me wrong though, this is a stellar piece, but I include having fun with it and not just the character that I like. It could have been slightly better in my opinion, and no, the 10 out of 10 portrait isn't saving this. I'd love to see ARC Trooper Echo in 5s at some point, but after having Jesse, I can't say the excitement is through the roof, but I would be pre-ordering. With that said, R2-D2, the Geonosis B1 battle droid, and the Tark Invader 2-pack is on the way, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. This is Jonathan with Boston Collectors, and as always, It doesn't matter what we rate the figure. If you like it, we love it. See you next time.